Hello everyone, welcome to EULAR TV one more time, and I'm very delighted to have Professor Michael Ehrenstein from University College London. Mike, thanks for being with us.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you,
Thank
Shiva.
So Mike, you've been in the poster today on lupus, and I'm sure there are a lot of interesting poster on therapy. So do you want to give us a brief highlight of these upcoming treatment?
Yep, sure. So it was very exciting to do a poster tour just on the immune effects of biologic therapies, trying to understand what they're doing in lupus patients, because lupus is such a diverse disease that it's really, really important to sort of drill down onto the effects of the biologic therapy. So we had a number of treatments looking at, for instance, TYK2 inhibitors or CAR T-cell therapy or CD40 ligand, all these types of treatments. The pharma companies are investigating the immune effects, looking at transcriptional profiles and serological effects of these treatments and trying to identify the targets and response, so markers of response. Some of them had control, placebo control, others just had the single treatment, and they came up with a general consensus about targets that we're very familiar with, interferon alpha, for instance, or plasmablast, neutrophil targets. So I think what's important now is to see whether any of those can predict response and to develop into a sort of personalised medicine where you can know which treatment you should start with. So for instance, because there's so many now, so which treatments won't work and which will for patients. So it was a very, very interesting session.
It's very fascinating. Now, I spoke with Lauren before about the lupus and was talking about the precision medicine. And obviously, I don't think so we are still there for the precision medicine, but there are a lot of things coming out. And in terms of the precision medicine, what do you think that we are standing at the moment in lupus?
Well, lupus is a very diverse disease, and at the moment, I don't think we are quite, as you say, quite there yet in terms of knowing which treatments will work for which patients. General pathways are being identified. Sometimes the technology that's being used is difficult to translate that into the clinical setting, so complex transcriptional analysis, for instance. So we're not there yet, but we're definitely on the road to understanding mechanism rather than just seeing whether the treatment works and then carrying on with it. So that's a progress, I think.
Yeah, fantastic. And let me take this opportunity to ask you about this, so the combination therapy. So I know that people have been targeting a particular target. We know that you did BEAT lupus trial, you used a combination approach. And what do you think, in terms of treating the difficult patients, shall we still target one molecule, or because it is a very diverse disease, or shall we, you think we target two molecules at the same time will give us a better result?
Yeah, I do think targeting more than one molecule will give a better result because of the limited efficacy of many of the trials we've seen, sometimes failure completely. So I think targeting two molecules, or perhaps even better, targeting the treatment to a particular subgroup of patients. The BEAT lupus trial you mentioned, that was belimumab after B-cell depletion, so we showed that did have an effect, a modest effect, and then we did work together to identify the biomarker that identified the patients that really responded very well.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you have mentioned about the biomarker. So 2 years ago, you presented IgA2 anti-double-stranded DNA as a biomarker of this combination therapeutic approach. And I've heard that you are pursuing doing a biomarker-enriched trial in lupus, which has never been heard about. So what is your highlight about that?
Yeah, it's really exciting to be able to do a clinical trial with a placebo arm and then identify a biomarker that predicts response to just one arm but not the other, and then to see a much greater delta. And it was also really exciting to know that this biomarker was a simply measured assay available already in the clinical laboratories. So yes, we're doing this trial now with a clinical endpoint. BEAT lupus was just a biomarker endpoint, so this got a major clinical response endpoint. And we're using the same treatment combinations to see whether it will turn out prospectively to demonstrate efficacy in a select group of patients.
Okay, fantastic. Good luck with your trial, and thanks for joining us.
Okay, pleasure. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.